Mi vida desde muy pequeña fue algo como quien dice.
Growing up, my entire childhood consisted of working with my dad. My father raised us to sell. Every day from the early morning, we would go out to pick and gather corn and firewood. We would come back home to prepare the corn and sell it by 1 p.m. The most difficult thing about growing up in Honduras is our education. By the 6th grade, at 13 years old, I had to provide funds to pay for my schooling. I remember when I started working to help my parents.
Cuando yo empecé a trabajar,
When I started working, I only left myself $12 to buy food, and the rest of the money I would give to my mother. I remember my dad would get upset with me for helping my mom financially. I had to work hard to pay for my schooling, help my family, and what little I had would be for my spending. That was my childhood in Honduras. When I grew up, we relocated to living in a cemetery. We had no place to go. We are technically squatting, which in Honduras isn't legal, but where else are we supposed to go? We've been living here for over 4 years now. We can't complain. We call this community God's blessing. I'm not afraid. I have shelter. People will say to me, "Why are you living there near so many of the dead?" And I always respond saying I live peacefully. Without it, we would be homeless. I remember it was November 4th when the hurricanes arrived in El Progreso in San Pedro Sula. I was setting up tarps to protect my home from the hurricanes. I was not ready for what was about to happen. The hurricanes destroyed everything, and my family was only left with the clothes on our backs. Not to mention that these hurricanes occurred in the middle of the COVID-19 pandemic. When COVID hit, we weren't able to go out or work. But God has never left us behind. My husband, thanks be to God, was still able to provide even though we were both without work. Because of the hurricanes and COVID, this is how we ended up here, on the streets, living in a tent with our kids. We lived there for 4 months. We used whatever we had to build our shelter. It was difficult seeing my home being taken away, but I know that God rescued me and pulled me out of that situation. Then I met someone.
Well, back in January of 2021, we partnered with a nonprofit called Humanity and Hope United Foundation. And they are a local Honduran nonprofit. And lately they have been providing disaster relief aid to communities that were flooded by the hurricane. And they called us and asked us to partner with them. And so we have been going into those communities, providing hundreds, if not thousands of families access to clean and safe drinking water. And that's where we met Idalia. And before Idalia received a filter, her family was always sick from the water that they drank. And by always sick, meaning that they always had flu-like symptoms, whether it was a skin rash or diarrhea or vomiting or a headache or a fever or chills, some of it, all of it, whatever it is, they always had it because they always drank from water that caused it. And when she received a filter, it completely changed her daily life. It completely changed her children's lives because they're no longer sick. They don't have those ailments anymore. And as a result, they have energy. Their attention span is there. Their education has increased. Herself as a mom, not having to worry every single day, that's gone. She now has hope. It's given her energy. It's given her a desire to want to go and be the difference for other people in her neighboring communities as well. And so she has been partnering with us, with Humanity and Hope United Foundation and One at a Time, to go out into other communities to provide other families clean water with us. And that's what we're all about. It is so incredible to see that one mom and her life change to want to go and change other lives as well. You know, thousands of people need this right now in Honduras, and millions of people need access to clean drinking water around the world. And that number is staggering. There's so many people that need it. And oftentimes it's paralyzing. Like, how do we even make a difference? Where do we start? But, well, what if we could start with one, like Idalia? What if we could be for one what we wish we could be for everyone? That's what we're about at One at a Time, is looking at people like moms like Idalia and saying, you know what, I can at least give her clean water, and watching her life radically change. And then that stirs within her to want to go and do the same for other people. And she is. She has been radically changed by it, and now she desires to radically change other lives as well, right down the street from where she lives.
Living how we were in desperate need of help with water, food, and shelter. We were receiving food and aid from Humanity and Hope, but we were still in need of clean water. The water that came from that tank was no good. We would have stomach pains from the water. One day, while assisting in a Honduran community named Philadelphia with Humanity and Hope, I received a filter from One at a Time. The water filter helped us have clean water and we were relieved. How you have helped me, I can help others with the work that I do. I love this because I'm doing what I've always dreamed of, which is to help others. Through you, I have been blessed. Our community has been blessed. And now we can bless others. Through our partnership with Humanity and Hope and One at a Time, not only can I count on clean water, but the majority of communities here in this area can rely on having access to clean drinking water as well.